John Fetterman, Democrat out of Pennsylvania, was one of the only few to speak on the defense of ICE agents. And I quote, "ICE performs an important job for our country. Any calls to abolish ICE are 100% inappropriate and outrageous." John Fetterman also is one of the few Democrats to speak against the Schumer shutdown. It's not about American politics. It's about the American people.
Are you surprised that vote after vote, it's just been 3 Democrats time and again who voted for this bill? Does that surprise you?
Yeah, it's Groundhog Day, and I'm just saying, and it's not entertaining. That's a great movie, but this is and it's like now real damage is are now touching the lives of regular Americans, and we all lose, and it's embarrassing to our allies and to our enemies abroad.
Now, what the American people have to realize is John Fetterman is not a conservative. He's a liberal, and he's voted with the Democrat Party over 95% of the time. And for him to say this is BS, and he refuses to go with the Democrat Party just so the American people can suffer, he just won't do it. The Democrats have refused to vote on a clean CR over 13 times when John Fetterman voted for the clean CR the first time. They would rather have the American people suffer to beat Donald Trump than open up the government, get the people paid, and then see who's telling the truth. Because they're saying that if they do sign the clean CR, the Republicans are not going to negotiate. Well, we won't ever know that until they sign the CR. Now, they continue to say they care about the American people, but a top Democrat slipped up and said, if the American people suffer, then they suffer. Take a listen.
No responsibility on the Democrats. Or at least you don't think that the public will perceive that the Democrats are responsible.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leveraged times we have. It is an inflection point in this budget process.
So if the TSA workers don't get paid, oh well. Troops, it don't matter either. The middle class, the poor, people don't get SNAP benefits, that's not a problem either. We care about illegals that's coming into the country, and we need to make sure they're provided for. Damn the American people. But you know who is getting paid? The Democrats that's shutting down the government and wasting taxpayer dollars. Look at this.
I'm going to untie my shoelace because standing in one place for this much time, well, made my shoes a little tight. It feels a little better. General, I don't recommend standing through the night and talking. Not a healthy pursuit.
Not a healthy pursuit. What's not a healthy pursuit is people not being able to pay their bills at the end of the month. Kids not being able to eat. Why? Because you in a not healthy pursuit to try to beat Donald Trump while the American people suffer. But the thing is, it's partially about Donald Trump, but it's also partially about Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries in fear of the left extremists, AOC, and Bernie Sanders.
Big news CNN, Senator Fetterman was asked about his party's primary threats. He responded, "I really could not care less." Good for him. He joins us now. Democrat, Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman is with us. Senator, thank you for being with us. I know a lot of Democrats don't want to come on this show. I'll be respectful. I've had the opportunity to meet with you and have, very civil conversations and friendly and actually fun, to be very honest, and we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on, Sean. It's a pleasure to have this conversation. Absolutely.
I want to start with this issue because if you go back to the end of the 24 campaign, the closing argument to me was Nazi, fascist, racist, Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini. I don't think it worked out well for the Democrats. And you actually said if you're looking for a Democrat, and this is what you said, that's going to call people Nazis, fascists, all these kinds of things, I'm not going to be that guy.
Now, before John Fetterman responds, I just want to make everybody understand that John Fetterman voted with his party over 95% of the time. So he's not one of those guys that won't ride or die with his party.
Okay, I admire you for saying that. I'm not going to be the guy, saying those things about the left either, because, those are the worst adjectives you can use. But you made a decision not to, but your party is going in the other direction. And they're saying it with regularity, and I'll play more tape later in the show today about it. What is going on? Why have they chosen that path when it didn't succeed the first time?
I don't know why, and I've always refused to say that. And when the Vice President Harris referred to President Trump as a fascist, and I knew absolutely we lost the plot at that point. If you call the president or someone like a fascist, you're effectively calling the people that are going to vote for him, and then they must be fascists too, or they support fascism and those things, and that's just not true. That's just not it. I happen to know, and I love a lot of people that voted for the president, and they're not fascists, they're not Nazis, they're not trying to destroy the Constitution, all those things. They just happen to have different priorities, and they love our country in the same ways that Democrats do as well. So I refuse to do those kinds of a thing, because that kind of extreme kinds of rhetoric makes it easier for those kinds of extreme kinds of actions, even like what happened at Charlie Kirk and that. And now why you can't allow people to grieve and now use that an opportunity to criticize or to turn it into something. It's like, it's just basic humanity there. And we're forgetting that we need each other. We need each other here. And now I refuse to be a part of it and comparing people to Hitler and those things, because if that's what's required to win, then I refuse to.
And that's what frustrates me about the Democrat Party, when they call Donald Trump a Nazi, a communist, a king, a racist. He won the electoral vote and the popular vote. So when you call him all those names, it's basically you saying that all the people that voted for him are that way too. It's just bad politics, and they're going to pay for it in the midterms. That's a promise.
You just heard Democratic colleagues, family will suffer, but we need the leverage. Wow, that's a pretty impactful statement to me. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I just said that, I just put that in my social, 2 million Pennsylvanians depend on SNAP to helping feed themselves and their family. 2 million. And now that's going to be suspended because our government is shut down. I can't ever vote for that kinds of mass food insecurity like that. And now I'm going to be a county, I'm a country over party guy. I'm always going to vote to pay our military over the party. I'm always going to vote to pay the Capitol Police here versus over the party. I'm always going to vote country over my party, and if I pay a price with within my base, that's something I'm willing to do because I happen to believe it's very true, and that's what's honest where we are right now. It's wrong to shut our government down, and that's going to impact millions of Americans. And I do believe Leader Thune is an honorable man, and I do believe that we can have significant and important conversations to negotiate to extend those tax credits, and I do hope we're able to do these things. So for me, it's a core responsibility here as a senator to keep our government open, and I'm never going to vote to shut our government down, and I don't care if it's the Republicans or Democrats, whatever, it's wrong.
Leader Thune is a Republican, by the way, the one he's calling the honorable man. The thing is, when you would rather have the American people suffer, that goes against what they voted you in there for. There is no Democrat Party without the people. The people voted you in. So your responsibility is to the people, not to your own selfish beliefs and trying to be Donald Trump. And he's calling out the whole party. He's saying this is a selfish act, and he's not going to ride for that. He's for the people. Why? Because the people is who voted him in, and the people is who voted them in.
How do you interpret Chuck Schumer? We played montages on this program of him over the course of his entire career speaking out against a government shutdown, and now he's made the decision to do it. You came under heavy criticism when this happened back earlier in the year, as did he, but now he's changed course. Do you believe he's catering to a rise of radicalism in your party? Do you see a rise of radicalism in your ranks?
I don't know what his views are, and of course I'll respect whatever his views are. But I'm not afraid to tell my truth, and if I'm going to pay a penalty, I'm not afraid of that. It's wrong to shut our government down, and then if I lose some support within the base, well, I'm going to be honest, and I'll be the Democrat that refuses to lie to the base and to say that it's the right thing to shut the government down and to create these kinds of things. I want to extend these tax credits and make health insurance more affordable, but I also refuse to vote to suspend SNAP for millions of Pennsylvanians in my state and across the entire nation. I refuse to do those things.
See, John Fetterman, he didn't throw Chuck Schumer under the bus when Hannity asked him about Schumer being controlled by AOC and Bernie Sanders. His main focus is the American people and the common sense of thinking about we can't shut down the government and have people go without, whether it be food and can't pay their bills. It's just stupid. It's bad politics.
Senator, you've taken other bold stands. For example, you supported President Trump taking out Iranian nuclear sites. You've been an outspoken supporter of Israel. I have a hard time understanding those that don't understand, that the equivalent of 40,000 Americans, based on their population versus ours, were killed in a single day. Murder, rape, kidnapping, torture, beheadings, that all happened. And if it happened in this country and we've been hit with hundreds of thousands of rockets, I ask everybody that is criticizing Israel, what would you expect America to do? What do you think is missing in terms of their thought process?
I can't imagine why. I believe my party betrayed Israel through that Gaza war. I became really the last Democrat that's going to stand with Israel to the end. And I think I was one of the first and only Democrat to celebrate the ceasefire and the peace deal that the president helped achieve. That's an incredible development. That's not about the politics. That's amazing. saying, I was the only Democrat that supported the Iranian nuclear sites. How could we allow Iran to acquire a nuclear bomb? I mean, again, I'm going to follow country over party through these things. And I think it's magnificent what Israel's been able to accomplish. They were able to break and destroy Hamas, Hezbollah, and Houthis. And now they also broke and humiliated Iran, and that blocked them from acquiring a nuclear bomb. That's huge. And all the experts were wrong. And I was proud to stand with Israel. And I absolutely agreed with the way the president has handled that situation through it. And I'm always going to vote whatever supports Israel, military, financial, intelligence, whatever that is.
It's bad when you're a party, and a party of Americans, which is the Democrat Party, and when you're seeing success that the country is doing by generating peace, bringing in jobs, bringing down inflation, and you would rather have the American people suffer. Why? Because it's Donald Trump doing it. See, that's hate. That's hate on a whole nother level. That's hate for your country. Because it's one thing to hate Donald Trump, but when you don't want the country to succeed because of Donald Trump, that's the ultimate form of hate. John Fetterman, he's like, no, I'm not rolling with that. He's hearing from these people every day. I'm pretty sure he's hearing the hate, and the hate is going towards Donald Trump and not focusing on what's best for the American people. They want to vote this guy out, but that's never going to happen. The American people, Republicans and Democrats, love John Fetterman, so you don't have any reason to worry about his seat getting taken. But as for the other ones, they're gonna pay a price. There's no doubt in my mind about that. In 2026 and 2028. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow God, not coach.